Tranquility and darkness exist side by side in this world. Most of us are fortunate to enjoy peaceful lives, untouched by the chilling acts that unfold in the shadows. But what happens when that darkness creeps in and shatters the calm? On a quiet summer day in 1983, the paths of two troubled teenage girls converged in the foothills of Northern California. No one could predict how this encounter would end, least of all 85-year-old Anna Brackett, who welcomed the girls into her home. After years of cruelty, these teens had turned their pain outward. And on that summer day, the tranquility Anna enjoyed was utterly destroyed by an act of senseless behavior. Cindy and Shirley came from broken places, but how did their trauma steer them toward this act? What twisted inside them, threatening to snuff out their own young lives along with Anna's? To understand what led them to Anna's door, we must follow the clues back through their pasts, back to the childhood experiences that molded them, back to the failings of a system that didn't protect them. The question lingers, could this outcome have been prevented? Though we may never know the answer, this story serves as a cautionary tale of two fragile lives that took a devastating turn. Hi guys, and welcome back to Crimeco, where we break down some of the most chilling true crime cases from all over the world, giving you the most up-to-date detailed information. If that sounds like something you are interested in, be sure to subscribe and don't forget to give this video a like. A like from you really helps the channel. Thank you. Now let's dive in. Our story unfolds in the foothills of Northern California, about an hour northeast of Sacramento. The area's winding backroads and calming streams wend through sun-kissed hills dotted with oaks. Many residents who dwell in these parts commute to Sacramento, but prefer the slower pace of life outside the city. The town of Auburn rests snugly within the embrace of grassy foothills. Its downtown, situated with two precious rivers on either side, benefits from the nourishing waters that support the community and natural areas. Yet downtown Auburn fails to betray the area's most famous export, gold. Its discovery here long ago sparked dreams of wealth and an intense rush to the foothills. That frenzy has tempered over time, leaving room for other pursuits. It was here, in a quiet condo community amid Auburn's hillsides, that two young lives became adrift. Within this oasis of manicured lawns and nearby nature walked individuals unaware that darkness lurked close at hand. The tranquility nurtured by this riverside locale was soon shattered, but the effects spread even further throughout California and beyond. Though shocking, the events embody complex human experiences that resonate universally. Now we delve deeper into those experiences. Beginning with the two fragile teens at the heart of this cautionary saga. Cindy Collier and Shirley Wolfe seemed an unlikely pair, but their shared history of harm inflicted by those meant to protect them forged an instant bond. When they met, Shirley Wolfe was just 14. Though shy and small in stature, she harbored immense pain. Shirley's childhood had been stolen from her through the cruelest betrayal imaginable. Her own father, meant to be her guiding light, had broken Shirley instead, shattering her trust in humanity. Cindy Collier was 15, with an air of toughness cultivated by her hard upbringing. Though Cindy didn't often betray weakness, inside she ached from the abuse and neglect she'd endured. Her mother, overwhelmed with providing for her kids alone, couldn't shield Cindy from repeated trauma. In different ways, Shirley and Cindy were set adrift, without any support and care children so desperately require. On the June day their paths intersected, these two wounded girls saw reflections of their own pain. What unfolded next would ripple through the community, shocking residents to their core. Cindy Collier's chaotic upbringing began in hardship when her father left just months after she was born in 1967. Her mother Betty was suddenly solely responsible for providing for Cindy and her three young brothers. The family scraped by on Betty's wages as a waitress. With no father figure present, Cindy lacked stability during her formative years. When Cindy was 7, her mother began a relationship with a man who allegedly harmed Cindy. This trauma continued when her mother married another troubled man. Cindy later told authorities she was SA'd multiple times by different mothers' boyfriends and family members. As Cindy entered her teens, she began rebelling and getting into trouble at school. Her attendance suffered as she started running away for days at a time. Cindy had several brushes with the law for offenses like theft, trespassing, and in common teenage crimes. She was known for her temper and tendency to resolve conflicts violently. Those who encountered Cindy recalled her hardened exterior and defiant attitude. Shirley Wolf's early years in Brooklyn were marked by poverty and parental alcoholism. The family relocated to California when Shirley was 6, but troubles followed. Shirley's father, Louis, began SAing her, stealing away her innocence cruelly. Shirley tried to hide the award, not wanting to further fragment the family. But when Shirley was 9, Louis read her, inflicting deep trauma. The violations continued unchecked for years, alongside hitting of Shirley and her brothers. In 1982, Louis was convicted of Child M after Shirley revealed the truth, but he only served a brief jail sentence. The next year, Shirley was removed from her family and placed in foster care. She longed to go home, feeling cast adrift in the system. June 14, 1983 began uneventfully enough in the foothills of Northern California. But as morning gave way to a hot afternoon, two young lives collided, setting in motion a series of events that would leave the community shaken. That day, 15-year-old Cindy Collier was staying at a youth home in Auburn after another brush with the law. 14-year-old Shirley Wolf had run away yet again from her group home an hour away. How the two girls crossed paths remains unclear, but by afternoon, they were roaming Auburn together, searching for refuge in each other's company. As the day progressed, the pair hatched a reckless plan to run away for good. They decided a car would enable their escape. However, their youth presented an obstacle to stealing a vehicle, so the teens planned a scheme to obtain one by force. They set their sights on the condos nestled in Auburn's hills. The complex was home to many senior citizens, making it an easy target. Knocking on door after door, the girls spun tales to gain entry, but left empty-handed each time, until they arrived at 85-year-old Anna Brackett's corner unit. Anna welcomed in the two young strangers, unaware of their malicious intent. After an hour of conversation, her kindness was repaid with cruelty when the teens attacked. By the time Anna's son discovered her remaining parts, Cindy and Shirley had fled the complex on foot. As word spread of the alarming incident, an intensive manhunt was launched, and authorities soon closed in on two very unlikely suspects. When Anna Brackett welcomed Cindy and Shirley into her home that June afternoon, she could not have imagined the malicious hidden intentions simmering beneath their innocent appearances. After politely chatting with the two girls for a while, Anna was caught off guard when one suddenly grabbed her and threw her to the floor. In her vulnerable state, Anna could not fight off the attack. The method was personal, the attack was prolonged and vicious. Anna suffered greatly in her final moments. As the life drained from her body, she pleaded for mercy, but her cries fell on deaf ears. The girls later admitted feeling only excitement during Anna's anguish. In their disturbed minds, this innocent elderly woman represented all they resented in the world. When the frenzied attack finally ceased, the condo fell silent. Anna Brackett's suffering had ended, while Cindy and Shirley's was just beginning. In a single shocking act of cruelty, they had destroyed another life, as well as their own futures. Though difficult to comprehend, the seeds of this senseless act were planted long before in their damaged upbringings. The how and why will forever cause despair. But understanding trauma's legacy can help prevent this outcome for other wounded souls. For now, we turn to the aftermath. how two lives suddenly turned down a darker path from which they could not return. In the wake of Anna Brackett's tragic death, Auburn residents were consumed by shock, outrage, and fear. How could two young girls commit such a horrific crime? As the manhunt intensified, details emerged about Cindy and Shirley's troubled histories, plagued by hurt and instability. The girls' rapid arrest provided little solace to a community mourning the loss of an elder beloved for her kindness. Investigators pieced together the sequence of events, but struggled to make sense of the motive. Cindy and Shirley openly discussed the crime in chilling terms, showing minimal remorse. Their apparent lack of empathy pointed to deep psychological scars. As the legal proceedings unfolded, the justice system grappled with how to sentence these damaged teens. Should they be held accountable as ruthless perpetrators or treated as victims of trauma? The debate surrounding rehabilitation versus retribution continued well after the trial. In the end, the presiding judge situated the outcome in the middle. The teenagers were sentenced to over 8 years in youth detention facilities. Release came by age 25 with good behavior. For Cindy and Shirley, their convictions marked the start of an arduous healing journey requiring intense self-reflection. Each traveled a different road after paying their debt to society. But the memory of their fateful choice lingers as a cautionary tale on trauma's far-reaching fallout. Anna Brackett's senseless passing leaves us grappling with difficult questions. How could such cruelty exist in two young girls? What drove them to extinguish a life heartlessly? The answers trace back to their traumatic pasts, of harm endured and protection unreceived. Society failed Cindy and Shirley long before that awful day. Adults entrusted with their well-being did not provide the stable homes they needed. Warning signs were missed or ignored by those in positions to help. Looking back, maybe this outcome could have been prevented had these troubled girls received support, treatment, and care early on. But speculation does little to erase the tragedy that resulted. Instead, we are left to reflect on how suffering and hurt reproduce themselves, how the vulnerable can turn to harm when their basic needs aren't met. We must confront the painful truth that sometimes the danger lurks not in dark alleys, but in the most innocent face. The lives lost here prompt a call to action, to believe young people's pain, provide refuge to the suffering, and prevent the cycle from continuing. For though we all falter, there exists an inherent light within each soul. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with the latest true crime cases. We appreciate having you as part of our community as we explore the mysteries that continue to fascinate us all. Stay curious and remember, justice may stay hidden in the darkest corner. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.